Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I have a special guest today.
I'm so shy right now.
This is her YouTube re-debut.
This is my re-debut.
Yes, and we're having a little mukbang. We have a special topic today. We're talking about friendships.
Ooh. We're gonna spill all the tea. I'm kidding.
We're gonna spill all the tea.
We're not gonna do that.
Yes.
Should I introduce myself?
Yes, introduce yourself.
I'm Kelly. I'm Julian's not long time, but pretty long time friend.
I would say you're a long
It's
time
been like
friend.
4 years
4
now.
years. How time flies.
That's crazy. I do have a YouTube channel too. Maybe I'm still thinking about if I want to jump back onto it.
What are the chances in a year?
It's like pretty high chance. I would say like 70% of me wants to
70.
do it again.
That's a pretty high chance.
Yeah. So we have Pikes
Yes.
with us today. If you don't know what Pikes is, it's a it's Korean take on Chinese food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is. So we got some jjajangmyeon.
And
What is this called?
I don't know.
It's like pork. Like,
starts with a T.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll just put it down below.
Yeah.
To 4 years of friendship
4
and
years.
ongoing.
And of course.
Knock on wood.
No.
What does friendship mean to you? How do you value friendship?
Oh, that's a good. That's a meaty one. That's a really meaty one. If I were to really put my prioritizations like in line, right? Friendships and family are really damn near each other. Throughout my whole entire life, like friendships have been like that going like force and like that consistent thing I've always had in my life. So I do value my friendships a lot, especially because like in terms of relationships, I haven't like had like many experiences with that, and like I don't know, my friends have always been there for me, and so because of that I put that at like such a high value. So friendships mean a lot to me and I care about my friendships a lot.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would say so too. Like friendships, you kind of like choose your friends. Whereas family, like you grew up with them. They've always been like part of your life, you know? But like friendships, you really choose. And I think, especially like graduating college, I think friendships are even more important because it's so much harder to maintain an adult friendship. So good luck with that when you graduate.
I think it's really interesting how you say like, oh, you know, like you have your family, but you gotta choose your friends. That's so true.
Yeah.
So follow-up question, because we've talked about this before. Like in terms of choosing your friends, like what are your like red flags versus like green flags in friendships? Like what do you seek in friendships now, maybe in comparison to before?
I think a very obvious one is like the amount of energy that they're willing to put, because like, you know, I don't think any friendship is 50-50. It's always gonna be like 60-40. If you have like a friend who's not willing to put that much energy, it's like a lot of energy on your end too. It's like you have to put the extra effort, and for some people like they don't mind it, and I don't mind it personally, but there's an extent, you know? That's like a very obvious red flag. I think if they're not gonna support you and your passion, that's like a red flag.
I agree with that one. I know like you shouldn't expect a lot from your friends, but I think the one thing that I look for in friendships is like a support system. Your closest friends are like who make you as a person, right? And so if I'm gonna surround myself with people, or I wanna surround myself with people who also support my like action, or like not my actions all the time. I want people to keep me in check, but like support like my dreams and my passions, and because I know I would do the same. You know, and it's like someone who's like not judgmental. Of like what I'm into or like what I'm trying to pursue. Just like someone who's like there for me in that way is really important. We were mentioning it earlier, like we don't really look at the red flags in friendship. You only kind of like focus on the green flags. But like knowing your worth in a friendship is also something that's so overlooked.
That's very true.
We think, oh, because our friends aren't like someone we're dating, or like we're not like technically in a relationship with our friends, right? It's like, oh, I don't have to really focus on like whether or not they're gonna support me in a way like a relationship would. But at the end of the day, it's still like a connection that you're making. It's still a relationship. Maybe it's not a romantic relationship, but it's still a platonic relationship. And you still have worth in like you should still like believe in your own worth when it comes to friendships.
I think growing up we only see like the good in friendships, but like I don't think we're taught like we get into fights with, or we are taught that, but we're never taught about like friendship breakups. You know, like we were always just taught like work things out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then,
or
like,
it's like you like kind of excuse things.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get into fights with your friends, but you excuse it.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, like that's just how it is. Like,
yeah. But friendship breakups are so real.
they're really real.
Yeah, and we don't talk about them. Like personally, like I haven't been in a real relationship, so some of my friendship breakups are the closest thing to like a heartbreak to me, you know. And even people in relationships, they always say like, oh, friendship breakups can be even worse than relationship breakups, because like we don't grow up, it's not normal, like we don't grow up saying like, oh, you're gonna break up with your friends, you know. It's just kind of like
we kind of like describe it as like a falling out.
Yeah.
But it's basically a breakup, right? You're not.
Yeah.
You kind of go through the same emotions. You're losing someone that was such a significant part in your life.
Yeah.
And like, I think especially with friendships, you're a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Than like maybe like a relationship that maybe you've been like dating the person for not too long and you break up, versus like a friendship of what it could be like 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, this person's no longer in your life, or like your paths no longer align, and then like
grow out of each other. It's sad, like when you run into a friend that once was like your best friend, or like a really really close friend, and you're just like, hey, how are you?
I know.
Okay, bye. You know?
Yeah, friendship breakups are really hard. I think I've learn, like over time, like when you mature, you realize that sometimes they're needed.
That's true.
As much as they hurt, like I think that's why like it's so rare, because I feel like friendship breakups hurt way more than just like regular breakups, just because of that like longevity, the vulnerability that was like placed into this like connection.
Yeah. Like
over time, you kind of like learn that you need to break up with certain friends.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you like, oh, you have to, but like there will be times when
it just happens.
It happens. Yeah. Like you've both like have gone on different maybe like paths in life. Yeah. And your like journeys no longer align.
Even though these friendship breakups hurt, like let's just say like, okay, we talk it out, blah blah. Yeah. And like it could work out, obviously. It could. But then like it's kind of like, do you want to be friends with someone who really doesn't want to be friends with you? Yeah. That's like a hard reality. Like, yeah, like you can mask the issue, you can like try to work things out, but it's gonna affect it. Like it's not gonna, things will never be the same almost, you know?
It's like you can have that conversation. If your like friendship is strong enough, like both parties will be able to communicate and like compromise. But then there's just like those like friendships where it just like, it's not gonna work out because that friend is not like treating you the way you should be treated. And then that's where like knowing your worth in a friendship comes in. Because yes, you can have those conversations. There's a lot of friendships you can save, but friendship breakups happen because compromise isn't willing to be made.
How would you describe our friendship?
Our friendship? See, I like low-key would say like our friendship is like pretty lonely. It just feels like an adult friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're one of my close friends, but I wouldn't say you're like my like best friend.
I'm your best friend?
No. Like I wouldn't say like you're my best friend, but like you're definitely one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Like, how else would I describe our friendship? It's like you give me like older brother vibes for sure.
Oh my god, Kelly.
At least when I first met Julian, like I was a little bit intimidated because like he was like in charge of this culture show we had at school, and like he was like boss man, you know. And like so when he like would like reach out, like I want to ask you like what like inclined you to like kind of reach out to me, you know? Because like I was like a youngin and like
I think like
my audition.
I feel like you kind of just, sometimes you meet people and you just get like they get it. And I feel like when we met, like I felt like you get it, you get the vibes. Like I feel like though we're not like the same, I feel like we have similar upbringing, similar we're very, I think we have a lot in common. Like on the surface level, I don't know if people could tell, but I think we have a lot in common. And I would say you're like one of my closest friends. Like I see you as a little sister. And like, yeah, I always knew like I wanted you to be like a close friend of mine because we just get it. And like every time we have, it's just us, like it just feels right. Like it just feels like, even though we don't talk all the time, like it just feels like we get it. And I would say even though we don't talk a lot, we're pretty invested in each other's lives. Like I would say like I know your life pretty well.
Same with me. I know your life pretty well because I watch his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
His vlogs.
How would you describe yourself as like
as a friend?
As a friend, yeah.
Oh, I like to think I'm a good friend. Like for me, like my love language, I apply my love languages to my friendships. So like it's acts of service and quality time. I'm a really busy person, so even if I can't see my friends a lot, I like to have quality time. So I will plan. Like I am a planner in the friendship. So like if I haven't seen a friend in a long time, I'll plan a really nice day for us. Like we'll like go out to like Capitola or like do a SF day trip, like things like that, dinner parties, you know? I feel like that's the type of effort I like to put into my friendship. It's just like that quality time and like making memories. In terms of like the deeper stuff, like that's a little bit more surface level, but like deeper stuff, if you have a problem, you can talk to me about it. It's just like, again, like I expect our friendship to be more than just like you coming to me to like talk about your problems, right? Yeah. But then I will always be there for you if you need someone to talk to. What else? How else am I a friend? I like to send TikToks. I maintain my friendships through sending TikToks. If I see a TikTok, it reminds me of you. I'll send it. You haven't
sent me a TikTok.
I have. Have I not?
I don't know.
I feel like it.
If I had to describe you as like a friend, like just a couple words, like I think you're very supportive. Like you're gonna be there. You're gonna listen. You're gonna just like always support.
I like to think I'm a fun friend too.
You are a fun friend. I feel like when people get to know you, like you're very quirky.
I'm a little goofy.
Gosh, how would I describe myself as a friend?
Yeah, how would you describe yourself?
I feel like, well, I've been told a lot is like I remember the small details. I'm the one who like hits up people. I think I'm like good at bringing people together too. So I would say I'm a very high energy friend.
I think you're a very generous friend.
Generous?
You're a super generous person. Like I think whether you realize it or not, you give a lot into your friendships. Whether it's like your time, your energy, like you are a very generous friend. And very reliable.
Thank you.
You're a very reliable friend. That's the one thing I need to work on. I'm reliable when it comes to like, I'll be there for you when like you need me. But like in terms of texting, like I'm really bad at texting.
I know. But
I've been getting better.
You are getting better.
I'm practicing. I'm working on it.
There was this one time where like I told her she's a bad texter and she's like, I know.
I do know.
Like not even attempting to work on it. You're like, yeah.
What do you regret about like how you like dealt with your friendships in the past, and what do you not regret? And like what do you expect? Or what do you expect from your friendships from here on out?
Wow.
That's a mega question.
That's a mega question. Okay.
We need a good question to close this video out.
Okay, I think I have the answer to the first one. Just getting too comfortable. Because I feel like when you get too comfortable, you have expectations that it's gonna be reciprocated, and you just get hurt in the end with that case, you know? So, like, I would want to keep being comfortable with friends. Like, why wouldn't you want to be comfortable with your friends? But you have to, I think a hard reality is realizing it's not gonna be reciprocated forever, at least. It could have been out to one point, but then not everything is forever. So I guess I regret getting too comfortable. What do I not regret in my friendships? I feel like I put a lot of energy in maintaining my friendships. So like if you see at like my birthday parties, like you see a lot of old faces. I do a really good job at just maintaining those friendships, even if it's just like once a year, just like, hey, how have you been? You know? And the third question, what was it again?
What do you expect from your friendships from here on out?
Just overall, like supporting each other's passions, hobbies, lifestyles, choices.
One thing I regret from, I guess, like my past friendships, a little bit like now is like not, or just like settling for certain friends and not communicating my needs and my friendships as like well as like, do you want a napkin?
No.
Yeah, just like being able to like communicate my needs more in like friendships. I regret not doing so. I don't regret letting go of my friends that I did let go.
That you did let go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like that have let me. Like I don't regret those situations because I feel like I've grown a lot from them.
Yeah.
And what I expect and look forward to in like my friendships from here on out is also a support system. I guess being able to surround myself with people who I can consider family and who who I feel like I can grow old with. You know?
Well, thanks for watching. I love you.
I love you too. Oh. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And you'll make your return.
Maybe.
Yes. We'll have a part 2.
Maybe, yeah. On my channel?
Really?
Yeah! I love it when you text me randomly. You're like, who's your bias in the Seraphim? Like, of course, like, oh my god, I'll tell you right away.
Yeah.
Like, my bias is Shaywan.
Yeah.